web proxy, and those are the things. So as a security team, like security analyst, we are going to protect those devices in the organization and also information, data. We are protecting the data, right? So sensitive information and whatever the information present in the organization, as a SOC team, like we are going to protect from the attackers. So like multiple attacks are there, like malwares, virus, worm. These are the malware categories, and every day we get cyber attacks. Different types of cyber attacks are happen around the world, right? So for that, as a security analyst, we need to update up to date with the security news and all. So for that, we need to follow some particular website. Do you know, like anyone knows any like cyber security websites like blogs and all? It's okay. So I will share the links. Okay, go through those links uh, and read at least one blog or at least on one particular attack type or vulnerability. I will show you. Let me share my screen. Is it visible to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So this is a website thread post. Okay. So in this website, you can see like malware category, like vulnerabilities and all. So everyone go through at least one blog on it. So if you go this, read at least it takes 2 to 3 minutes or 5 minutes it takes. So read, go through these particular malware type and vulnerabilities. Each and every day there is an update here. So types of malwares or types of vulnerabilities. So when it comes to vulnerability, these are the weaknesses, right? Weaknesses in the system. Okay. And the second one is the like the hacker news. Here also same thing, like data breaches. Here we have so many options, categories like data breaches, cyber attacks, vulnerabilities, and all. So go to like any of the category, okay, and read for 5 minutes, right? So this one block at least 5 minutes. It takes 5 minutes only. So like that, we need to, as a security analyst, we need to up to date with the vulnerability types, malware types, and all, so that we can defend the attacks if this particular vulnerability is present in our organization, so that we will get to know how to defend it, how to patch those things and all. Okay.
Sorry to disturb you, sir. Actually, sir, am I late or with anything missing? Sorry, I got late.
No, we are discussing on the like cyber security news websites and all.
Okay, sir. Thank you,
Yeah,
sir.
yeah. So I will share these two links. Okay, there are multiple websites. So most of the security analysts, we do follow these 2 or 3 websites for the security news, because every month, we do vulnerability assessment, so that in that scenario we need to be up to date with the vulnerabilities, new vulnerabilities. Is there any critical vulnerabilities are there or not, critical, severe, like that? There are stages. I will explain real time how we are going to do those things. I will show the documentation of like vulnerability report, like sample report. And also in when it comes to SOC, like SIM tool. So basically we use SIM tools, right, in defending. So where we uh, monitor 24/7 and all. So let me share that. So I will show you what are the steps we are going to do So in the SIM tool, how we are going to protect the data from the cyber attacks and all. So so when it comes to SIM tools, there are multiple products available in the market, right? So I think you guys have hands-on experience on which SIM tool?
It's like
Splunk, sir.
QRADAR and
Yeah,
QRADAR and
Splunk
QRADAR.
and IBM QRADAR. Both.
Right. So like that, there are multiple SIM tools are available. So in each and every SIM tool, so the UI, GUI, and there are some features are different. That's it. So when it comes to process, the technology regarding getting the fetching the logs, it means like collecting. We are collecting logs, right, from all the devices like laptops, PCs, firewalls. We are collecting the data from all the devices into the SIM tool, right? So in SIM tool, we are monitoring 24/7. So when it comes to SIM tool, so there are multiple inbuilt rules are there. So each and every uh, thing works on the rules and the correlation rules and the event rules, we call it as. So based on these rules only, we get alerts, okay, in SIM tools. So when I say alert, so security analyst, like levels of security analyst in the organization, basically there are three types, okay? So level 1, level 2, and the level 3. Like security analyst L1, we call it as L1, L2, L3. So security analyst L1. When it comes to L2, we call it as like senior security analyst. When it comes to L3, it's a SOC manager level. Or in some of the organization, there will be a level 4 also, where it comes to like multiple thread hunting. A team will be added, thread hunting. Okay. And when it comes to these levels, so as a fresher, L1, so each and every organization, they prepare a documentation, proper documentation on each and every type of alert. When I say alert, it's a brute force attack activity, it's a one type, and a ransomware, it's a malware, right? It's a one type of alert. So like that, there are multiple types. What we do if virus is attacked, virus is present in our PCs, or ransomware attack happens, like that, and brute force attack. So we have the documentation on each and every alert type. These things will be done by the L3 level guy. Okay. So when it comes to L1 guy, he follows those documentation, and he will be up to date with the like news, like cyber security, like attacks, new attacks types, vulnerability types, like that. Okay. So so this particular document is very important in the security analyst, like. So so it's a starting from the starting to ending, how we are going to investigate that particular alert. And yeah, this we call it as like incident response. Okay. So incident means this is like activity. So whenever the alert comes, so as a security analyst, we are monitoring 24/7, right, in each shift. Like that, there will be three shifts. Okay. So so let's suppose I'm in the shift. Okay. So I'm monitoring the SIM tool, any of the SIM tools, Splunk, QRADAR, Rapid7, there are logarithm, ArcSight, there are multiple SIM tools. Okay. So each and every SIM tool, we get notification whenever is there any suspicious activities happen, and depending on the rules, the alert will trigger. So whenever the alert trigger, we get the notification. Okay. So so these are the steps. Okay. Incident life cycle. So first step is the alert. So whenever the alert comes, as a security analyst, L1, let's say L1, I am L1, let's take example of L1 fresher. Okay. So whenever we see the alert, we need to assign ourselves. So everyone will get the like credentials and all. So if I'm in the shift, I need to assign that particular alert to myself. Okay. So this is the first stage, alert. So once I assign the alert, so I need to check what type of alert it is, whether the particular alert is belongs to authentication or malware. There are categories. I will show types of categories are present in this particular um, attacks. Like we have authentication, malware, then phishing, email phishing, and data exfiltration. Like that, there are multiple categories are there. So whenever we see the alert, we need to decide which category it belongs to. So let's take here authentication. Okay. So once I decide, okay, this is the authentication category. So when it comes to authentication category, we have some mandatory steps to follow. Like we need to check some mandatory details, right? It means like finding the information, like IP address is very important, right? Source IP and destination IP. I think everyone knows, right? Like private IP address and the public IP address. Here, a private IP address is very important for us. Once we know the private IP address, that's good enough. So, so when it comes to investigation, so so we need to get more details on that, like IP address, like source IP, destination IP, and port numbers also important. I think everyone knows the port numbers and the protocols, right? So those things are very important as a security analyst. So next, device names, user names. We need to find out those things in the raw logs and the data. In the SIM tool, we get all the details. We need to observe those things and we need to collect those information. So when I say here, the second stage is investigation, right? Like as a L1 analyst, we need to decide whether this particular alert is true positive or false positive. If it is a true incident, okay, if it is true incident and like suspicious activities happen, and we need to inform to the customer, right, for remediation purpose. In that scenario, it's a true positive, we call it as. Whenever it's true positive, we'll raise a ticket. So here raising a ticket means informing to the customer end or informing to the level senior person. Okay, if it is true positive. If it is false positive, means it is not suspicious activity or malicious activity. It is a genuine one, so no need to worry about. In that scenario, it's a false positive, we say. Okay, as a security analyst, we need to decide whether it's a true or false. So as a L1 analyst, so I'm not able to decide whether it's a true or false positive. In that scenario, as a L1, I need to escalate to the senior person. It means like L2 person. So here, this step, investigation, we need to escalate to the L2 person. Okay, the L2 guy, like senior security analyst, will do the investigation and he will decide whether it's a true or false. If it is false, he will close the ticket. If it is true, he will inform to the customer or inform to the manager. If he requires any further information or if he has any doubts, he will go with the like for decision, he will inform to the manager level, like that. Most of the cases, L2 will solve all the cases. So when it comes to like critical one, ransomware or critical scenarios, where the manager will come into the picture and he will contact with the customer at critical situation. Okay, so after investigation, as I said, like, if it is a true positive, we need to raise the ticket, right? So we call it as incident logging. Logging means we are filling all the data. I will show the template, sample template, how we are going to fill the data and how we are going to submit to the customer. So when it comes to customer, informing to the customer, there are multiple ways. So via mail, basically we do mails or ticketing tools. So every organization, they use ticketing tools. Okay, so there are like a Zira ticketing tool is there, Zoho ticketing tool is there, like that. There are multiple ticketing tools are there, and they integrate with the SIM tools. Okay, so like that is a communication purpose between the customer, right, customer and the service provider, like that. Okay, so after incident logging, so respond, how we are going to remediate that particular activity, like preventions or remediation we need to take to that particular suspicious activity. If malware attack happen, so how we are going to remediate it. So how to remove that particular virus or worm from the PC, how to do that. Those things comes under response. Okay, once everything is done, remediation is everything is done. Now once the customer confirms Okay, everything is sorted out, so no need to worry about. Then we need to close the incident. So we raise the ticket, right? Then we need to close the ticket. Okay, that comes into incident closure step. Okay, once everything is done, so each and every activity we need to create a report. Reporting is very important in when it comes to cyber security. Each and every activity, what steps we taken, and remediation steps and all, reporting whom we reported, and how many days it took to resolve that particular incident and all. Everything is important. Reporting is very important. So when it comes to reporting and all, L2 or L3 will do that. Okay. So like senior. Okay. So when it comes to last step, lessons learned, this will be same. This will be done by the L3 person. So when it comes to this, a lesson learned means if it is a new attack, let's take ransomware attack. It's a new ransomware attack. L3 person, like SOC manager, he will create the documentation of like what type of malware it is, like ransomware, and how we are going to find out from the logs, what are the steps we need to take for investigation purpose, and then how we are going to remediate it. Like that, those steps, each and every in detailed information, he will create the particular documentation, and this will be given to the L1 analyst. Okay, so why we are creating this lesson learned documentation is this is for the L1 analyst. For the next time same attack happen or same activity happen, the L1 analyst has the documentation, right? He just go through that particular category and particular alert type, and there will be a investigation steps on all. So he will do the like he will follow the steps, and he will give the remediation to the customer by own, like that. So for that reason, lesson learned is very important. Okay, so these are the in detail information, alert logging. So based on rules, use cases, we get the alert investigation. So when it comes to investigation, this is very important. See, if you see here the table, so minor incident, major incident, and we have a high, medium, low, very low, like that, right? So priority like P1, P2, P3, P4 categories I will show in the next slide. Okay. So when it comes to assigning, if it is low, depending on the alert also, we assign different analysts. So when it comes to critical, the if L1 will first do the basic investigation for everything. Once the L1 find he is not able to do for more information, if he is not getting more information, he will escalate to the L2 person. Like that, if L2 person, then L2 person will escalate to L3 if it is critical, like that. So here they mention high, medium, low, like that. Basically we call it as like medium, critical, severe, like that. Okay, medium, severe, and critical, like that. Okay, so the different organizations use a different namings. Okay, and these are the categories like P1, P2, P3, how it impact the business. Okay, type of attack, if it is like brute force attack and authentication failure, multiple authentication failures and all, so we need to, it's a low impact. As a security analyst, we need to decide uh, whether it's a P1, P2, P3, P4. So when it comes P1 is basically it's a critical one. Okay, P1 critical, P2 is like high, medium, low. These are the categories. So whenever the alert comes, we need to decide which category it is, like that. So as I mentioned, see, these are the categories. So malware, data integrity, authentication, phishing, like that. So this is very important. In the beginning, as I said, so whenever we decide, okay, authentication category, source IP, important destination IP, and the device type, username, logon type. So logon type is very important. Logon type, user type. So when it comes to authentication, when it comes to malware, here file name, file path, right? Username and action taken, source of infection. This information is very important when it comes to malware category. Like that, there are only 5 sample categories only. Like that, there are multiple categories are there. Okay, so we can add more details if we require. These are the mandatory investigation. We should know the device type, username, user type, logon type, like that, for everything. And when it comes to data integrity, same. When it comes to data integrity, we are discussing on like files, right? So that's why we need to investigate on which file name, which file type, path, whether it's a PDF or documentation or image, so like that. So file type is also important. And when it comes to file path, so it is also important because in the organization level, so most of the times for normal users they give only read only access, and for few people they give read and write access, right? So we should know users privileges, whether he has credentials, admin privileges, or normal user, or read and write, whether he has the permission to do that, to edit that, or to delete that particular file, or not, like that. Okay. And phishing, yeah, attachments are very important when it comes to phishing and all. So source IP, destination IP will get. And when it comes to phishing and all, we basically we discuss on like SPF, DKM, DMARC. Those are the rules, we signatures basically. So we need to know those things. And user type, attachments are very important when it comes to phishing and all. Okay. So as I mentioned, so we need to find out whether it's a true positive or false positive, right? So once we decide if it is true positive, we need to go to the next step, like raising the ticket to the customer. If it is not, if it is false positive, just close the ticket. The L1 guy can close the ticket, like closing the alert. Closing the ticket means closing the alert with the proper notes. Okay. So that whatever the actions done by L1 analyst or L2, we need to prepare a proper notes. So in SIEM tools, so there will be a notes option. So basically we do write on those things. If there is no notes on the SIEM tool, we inform in the ticketing tool. Okay. For the internal purpose, internal SOC team, so that if other person comes into different shifts, right, then he should know what happened in the previous shifts and all. Okay. And this is a incident login. So this is how the template will be. So we need to fill all the required details, and we'll send it to the customer end. Okay. Alert name, alert type, source IP, port numbers, and all actions, and user details and all. And remediation is very important. Okay. So raw data not required. Only few times it required raw data, like raw log, we call it as. And remediation is very important. We need, as a security analyst, we suggest them, we suggest the like client, so follow these steps to prevent, or follow these steps to resolve those things. Some of the organization they give full permission to the SOC team. Okay. In that scenario, we do the solution also, resolving those problem. In some cases we don't have access to the devices, to the client devices and all, then we need to inform to the IT department of the client. So the particular team will take care of those things. Okay. And yeah, these are the like steps, like mitigation, root cause. We need to find out root cause of that particular alert, why it happened, from where, what happened exactly. We need to find out those things. And resolution, like prevention action, corrective actions, those things we need to inform. And yeah, these are the examples of mitigation, like remediations. So what we do, if it is a malware is occur, like any malware, ransomware or worm, like that. So here we have examples in case of worm or in case of malware. So when it comes to worm, you all know it's a, when it comes to worm, it's a spread, right? It spread from one PC to one device to the another device. So in that scenario, we need to turn off the internet, like accessing internet access, right? So see, immediately disconnect the infected machine from the network. We need to disconnect particular device from the network, so that the worm won't spread to the another PCs in the network. Okay. So and then we need to do the antivirus scanning, like organization, basically we use endpoint protections like Sentinel-1 or Carbon Black, like that. There are multiple endpoint protections out there. So basically we install in each and every devices and from there we collect the antivirus, like endpoint logs, raw logs for authentication also. So when it comes to authentication,
Excuse
so
me,
so
sir.
we need to, yeah,
Sorry
tell
to
me.
interrupt, sir. Actually, in
Yeah,
some companies, organization, there is a separate AV team also. So, sir, we are in SOC team, and in antivirus update or policy scanning, AV scanning. So everything is done by MV team, antivirus team. So, so we, if in company AV team is there, so we just share our information to AV team. That
correct. Correct. If there is a team
mhm,
regarding, as I said,
regarding.
it's a endpoint protections. So for example, so yeah, so I will say tell the real time. In my company, so we are actually I'm handling the Australian client where the
Okay,
client has the endpoint protection like teams, like they are using the Sentinel one. So
okay,
whatever the information we observe, any in the SIM tool we got one alert saying that a malicious file is detected, particular alert or malicious process is running in that particular asset, right? So from where the logs, we can see from where that particular raw log is came from. So when we observe it is came from the Sentinel 1, so it means the Sentinel 1 reported those logs to the SIM. So in that scenario, we raise a ticket to that particular or respective team saying that do the AV scanning on that particular device and remove that particular. We give the information
okay,
basically each and every which asset, IP address and the username and the account details and all and the attachment and what malicious file, if there is a like malicious file is found in that particular device, we need to give the information, all the required information to the respective team, then they will take care of that.
okay, sir. Okay,
And see in organization there will be a firewall team. So in client end there will
yes,
be a IT team where the IT team, so they handle the firewalls, switches and all. So when it comes to let's take example authentications, some brute force is happening. So from the particular IP address from let's take example from Russia country, one malicious IP address is trying brute force, is guessing the passwords or with the like username and the password guessing. So what we do, so user ID, somehow the employee's username is data breached. Okay,
okay,
so they are attackers. What they do? Username they know, but password they don't know. They will try guessing the password and all they do. In that scenario, we will inform to the IT team. They will they will apply the multi-factor authentication to that particular user, or they will remove that particular account. Okay, and if I want to block the IP address, then I will inform to the firewall team so that the firewall team will take care of those things.
So 1 minute, sir. Sorry to
Yeah, yeah, tell me.
So actually the thing is here if you block the single user, the person who is trying to access that user, he can try with other user, right, sir? So applying the multi-factor authentication for single user is better than applying it for total employees, right, sir? For total users. And not only multi-factor authentication, sir. Can't we block the domain or from where the person is trying to access? Likewise, not only public IP, kind of addresses. Can't we do that?
See, when it comes to attacker, he not only attack from one IP address, right? Multiple IP address and domains. He use multiple things.
Yes.
We can't block each and every IP address, each and every domain,
Yes.
right? So what we do from our end, we apply multi-factor authentication to all the employees. Actually, we do that, and we reset the password of that particular user, the whoever the data breach happened. So from the website, have I been peeved is the website where we can get the data breach details. We
And
cross
also
check.
we
Yeah,
suggest the employees are to set a password uh, which is like mix of caps, small letters, special characters, everything. It's a kind of
yeah.
password.
See, when it comes to multi-factor authentication and all, we use Cisco or Dio security. There are different products, and when it comes to passwords and all, it's not the password contains like 16 categories characters, not small one. So we use a key pass to store those things, and we give awareness to the employees to put the strong passwords, like using symbols, numbers, capital, uppercase, lowercase, those things. So the IT team who are assigning the laptop, when IT team will assign the laptop to the user, right? So where where they will suggest them. And also as a security analyst, we service provider, we give the awareness trainings to the clients, like quarterly wise or like yearly twice, like that. And as a security analyst, we keep on like monthly once, we collect all the usernames, like email IDs and all, and we cross check with the like different websites whether those email IDs are data breached or not, like that. So most of the employees, they use those their usernames in multiple websites. So yeah, like that. And when it comes to the incident, so we need to find out the root cause. These are the steps and all, and resolution, we need to give corrective action or prevention action, like that. And alert closing, once the proper resolution has been found and implemented, the incident can be closed in the ticketing tool. So if we are using the ticketing tool, we close on the ticketing tool. If not, it's on the mail. Like, we use mail, right, for communication purpose. Then from the in the SIEM tool, we need to there will be option, like whenever the alert comes, there will be option like open. Next, status, I'm talking about status, alert status as like open. Then we put investigation while we are doing the investigation. Once it closed, we need to go there and put the status as like closed, like that. So yeah, this is the last step, like stage 7, lesson learned. Runbooks was not sufficient in the case, has to be escalated to L2 or L3. Then they have to
Sir,
document the lessons full, each and everything. Yeah, tell me.
sir, actually, the thing here is whatever we are doing, all these process, these we will be doing in our internal ticketing portal, or it is somewhat different, which we have the it's like a tool between us and the client.
Yeah, so the tool between the us and the client, customer end. So we are
Okay, the
using
tool,
just ticketing
this
tool, we
tool,
are using for the like communication purpose,
no,
where
no, sir. Whatever the tool which we are using with client and us, it will be like Zira, this kind of tool, or it will be like
yeah,
different
Zira,
tool.
Zira, there is like Zoho. There are different ticketing tools are there. And in ticketing tool also, so there will be like internal group. We create internal group where we do the shift handovers and all to the another guy. Okay, so when it comes to ticketing tool, there will be internal also and with the client also. Okay, so yeah,
Uh,
so when it comes to security analyst, so once the shift is done, so today I just investigated a few alerts, and there is a like pending, I investigated off, and my shift is done. So in that scenario, for the next guy, whoever replaces my like time shift, so as a security analyst, I need to give this proper shift handover. Like, these are the alerts, these are the things I did, and this is a pending investigation. These are the my collection, like information I collected, and continue from here, like that. If it is critical, or if there is if it is not critical, then inform to the another one, or if you have time, we need to do that, because it's a critical one, we need to solve within SLA. Okay, so basically when it comes to critical alerts and all, we need to solve those things within half an hour. Okay, so when it comes to high, will get 40 minutes, 45 minutes, like that, 1 hour, depending on the SLAs between the client and the service provider. It varies. Normally, generally we follow, when it comes to critical alert, within half an hour we need to resolve it, and when it comes to high, within 1 hour. Okay, so medium, low, it takes like 2 hours, no, not a problem when it comes to low alerts. Okay. And yeah,
Sir, sir, when I prepare for my interview, actually what happened in some project that they required system analyst L1 knows about antivirus AB. So actually, sir, when I work in Splunk, I used to integrate Teams and micro email security, and in that dashboard, I observe malware analysis and all these things. But this is in Splunk environment. I work in Teams that I represent. And thus the problem is that actually I work in NOC team. So my designation is network engineer. So how I can present myself that yes, I work in SOC. Actually, this is the main question that the interviewer asks. Your designation is not network engineer and you work for SOC. So how can I represent myself? That's my question.
yeah. So SIM tools, mention SIM tools, right?
Okay.
See, when you are mentioning SIM tools, logs are very important, raw logs.
Okay.
And
Okay.
see, I will share this particular documentation, explain these
Okay.
steps for the interviewer. This is for enough. So depending on the like senior or for freshers.
Okay.
So yeah. So these are the steps. When you explain these steps, so these are the steps I'm going to do in my shifts and all. When you are trying to explain the daily activities, right? Explain these things, and and also cybersecurity news also very important in the interview. So they ask like, what is the latest ransomware attack? So so what is a cyber attack, like critical one, and the vulnerabilities also. Just update with at least steady 2 3 malware types, vulnerability types, like critical top vulnerabilities. Okay. So normally they ask those things. News is also very important.
Okay. Sir.
For freshers, it's very important news. For seniors, they ask scenario based everything. When it comes to senior positions, they ask scenario based and how we work, and those things, how we are handled the incidents and all. Incident response they will ask, and prepare for 2 3 incidents like ransomware, any ransomware or brute force. Go through like 2 3, prepare for that. I suggest prepare 2 3 incidents. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So that explain what are the steps you investigated. Investigation steps is very important, and remediation is very important. If you are talking about
Okay.
any alert, you should tell what are the steps you did, like collecting the username, IP address, and cross checking with the like security platforms, right? Platforms
Okay.
also very important. So when it comes to platforms, so basically I think virus total everyone knows. So this is a platform where we cross check the IP address, URLs, files, hashes, domain names, and all. Like that, we have multiple security vendor platforms are there, security platforms. So you should mention these things in the resume also, like virus total mention, like MX toolbox, and mention these two. That's enough. And we have IP void. Okay. So where we do the see, when you are mentioning the like senior like experience, so you should know these websites, blogs, right? Security news blogs and security platforms. Virus total, MX toolbox, IP void. There are multiple. IBM also is there. So there are multiple platforms. So you need to explain. So whenever you uh, telling about the investigation, right? I'm cross-checking the IP address in this particular virus total and checking whether the particular IP address is valid or not, like that.
Sir, so you said that for senior position, we need to explain the scenario of
Yeah.
where we, for example, if we face some issue regarding the malware or ransomware attack, how you resolve that issue. Can you please explain as the scenario they ask? How could we go on to that, sir?
See,
For that
See, when it comes to ransomware and all, see, so basic investigation steps you should inform, like device, username, and file is very important. And the first thing we do when it comes to remediation and all, first we disconnect that particular laptop or the device from the network. And there will be another team where they do the forensic investigation. When it comes to ransomware attack, there will be like multiple teams will be involved in that incident response. Okay, so not only SOC only we are informing. We are just give the information to the different teams. That's it.
Yes. So, sir, my question is, what kind of scenario should we explain them? So, for example, if they ask like, explain us the scenario where you got such kind of issue. So, how you resolve that issue? You might have performed some kind of attacks, and you might have got that issues right. So, how you inform to your seniors or the incident response team? So, how would the resolution came? What are the remediation steps you did? Then how can we? That's my
Yeah.
question.
So see, I will share this documentation. Okay. So go through these things. This gives almost everything. So when it comes to authentication, it gives a remediation also. Okay. So when it comes to malware, it's common for each and everything. Malware types like virus and Trojan, like that.
So, sir, even for scenario-based kind of thing, we can explain these things, sir. It's
Yeah.
enough.
So when it comes to authentication, see, when it comes to authentication, in the authentication, this is authentication category. There are multiple alert types like brute force attack, failure logins, successful logins, also successful login from different locations, right? Then successful login from non-working hours. So when it comes to client, they are working for 9 to 5 only. Normally clients logging from like 8 to 6, between 8 to 6. But what if the login happened at midnight? It means like non-working hours. So investigation, what you do when it comes to investigation for authentication category, these are the common, like source IP, destination IP, device type, username. Then you need to mention, is there any failure logins? How many failure logins are there? You need to think like that. So if it is a success, authentication happened at midnight, non-working hours, you should cross-check. Is there any failed logins before the success one? If it is like that scenario, yeah, then that is a suspicious one. After 5 failed logins, if there is a sixth one or any successful, that is suspicious one. If it is not, if it is normal, singly it's a successful, then you can raise a ticket to the customer saying that why whether this particular user has a permission to log in at that time or to access. And as a security analyst, we should like monitor, right, continuously. So after successful login, we need to observe that particular user and the device. Is there any data is exfiltrating, like data is downloading or uploading? Is there any like that files, or is there any deleted categories? For each and every activity we do on Windows, like creating the file, deleting the file, or editing the user, or whatever the activity we do, everything is recorded, and everything we call it as logs. Okay, those things we forward right to the SIM tool. So I think everyone uses the Windows, right? Search for,
Yes.
yeah, event viewer. Okay. So in the event viewer, we'll get option Windows logs. These logs we are collecting, we are forwarding these Windows logs to the SIM. Okay, see, if you see here, there are for application there are 52K, for security it's a 31K events. So these logs we are forwarding to the SIM. In SIM we have rules, so that's the reason we are getting alert. So if I log this particular PC and enter the wrong password for multiple times, okay, for each and every activity here in the security events, I get record, like there will be a code, Windows event code. Okay, 4625 is like for failure. Okay, for successful 4624. Windows event code also very important. Whoever attending for like senior or for senior person, Windows event code. Search for Windows event code. So let me show that also. For freshers, no need to worry about these things. See, these are the like event codes. So when it comes to whenever you see 4624 in the raw log, it means the account was successfully logged on. 24. For
Sir,
225,
from that code, how can we find which are security event codes and which are Windows event, which are application event codes and which are how can we differentiate from that codes?
see in the raw, let me show raw log. I think this meeting will end by 10. Uh,
Hello.
Give me 1 second. I'm trying to extend the time actually. Is my screen is visible to everyone?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah.
Bharadwaj, can you mute your call? Actually, this is so noisy.
Hello, I'm audible, right?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yes, sir.
So when it comes to Windows and all, see for each and everything, there will be a select source, right? Here it is showing like ESEN system resource like that. When it comes to security, it is showing Microsoft Windows Security Auditing. For each and everything, there will be a source name. Okay. So if you observe the raw log, in the SIM tool. Okay, here source name. So Microsoft Windows security auditing. Security auditing. So it means it belongs to security. Okay. Source Microsoft Windows security auditing. So for each and for Windows only, we are getting the event IDs. Okay. So whenever you see the raw log, this is a raw log. We call it as a raw log. Okay. This is how it looks. Raw log. It is not. It is a unstructured format. Okay. If you see in the SIM tools and all, this particular unstructured format is converted into structured format in a tabular format like rows, columns and all, headings, proper information. So this unstructured format is converted into structured format. Okay. So for Windows logs only, we are getting the event ID codes, Windows event code. Okay. So if you see this thing, uh, what we are timestamp when it comes to raw log,